Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cha Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamdiriye Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. So, we'll have a discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Canto 6, Chapter 3, Yamraj instructs his messengers, text number 14, 15 onwards. So, as we know, Yamdutas went back to Yamraj and they asked him questions that, are you the only master? There's somebody superior than you. So, Yamraji was very pleased by hearing the name Narayan from his messengers. And then he understood what happened. And now he is clarifying the situation. Aham Mahindro Nirritihi Prachetaha Somno Agnirisha Pavano Viranji Aditya Vishwe Vasu Atha Sadhya Marudgana Rudragana Sasiddhaha Anya Chaye Vishwasrijo Amaresha Bhrigavan Deo Asprishta Rajas Tamaskaha Yasya Hitam Na Viduh Sprishta Maya Sattva Pradhana Apikim Tato Anya. I, Yamraj, Indra, the king of heaven, Nirriti, Varuna, Chandra, the moon god, Agni, Lord Shiva, Pavan, Lord Brahma, Surya, the sun god, Vishvasu, the 8 Vasus, the Sadhyas, the Maruts, the Rudrash, the Siddhas and Marichi and the other great rishis engaged in maintaining the departmental affairs of the universe, as well as the best of the demigods, headed by Brihaspati, and the great sages, headed by Bhrigu, are all certainly freed from the influence of the 2 base material modes of nature, namely passion and ignorance. Nevertheless, although we are in the mode of goodness, we cannot understand the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What then is to be said of others who, under illusion, merely speculate to know God? So previously, Yamraj was saying, just as a driver of a bullock cart ties ropes to the nostrils of his bulls to control them, the Supreme Personality of Godhead binds all men through the ropes of his words in the Vedas, which set forth the names and the activities of the distinct orders of human society. So everybody is under the control, and now Yamraji is saying, although we are in mode of goodness, still we cannot understand him or his activities. So how can anybody who's completely under illusion know him? The men and other living entities within this cosmic manifestation are controlled by the 3 modes of nature. For the living entities controlled by the base qualities of nature, passion and ignorance, there is no possibility of understanding God. Even those in the mode of goodness, like the many demigods and great rishis described in these verses, cannot understand the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, one who is situated in the devotion service of the Lord is transcendental to all the material qualities. Therefore, the Lord personally says that no one can understand him but the bhaktas, who are transcendental to all material qualities. So Krishna says in Gita, Bhaktya Mam Avijanati. So to understand him, understand Krishna's activities, very, very difficult. As stated by Bhishmadev to Maharaj Yudhishthira in Srimad Bhagavatam, O king, no one can know the plan of the Lord, Shri Krishna, even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively. They are bewildered. No one, therefore, can understand God by speculative knowledge. Indeed, by speculation, one will be bewildered. Muyanti. This is also confirmed by Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita. Manushya nam sahasreshu kashit yasati siddha. Among many thousands of men, one may endeavor for perfection. And even among the siddhas, those who have already become perfect, only one who adopts the process of bhakti, devotional service, can understand Krishna. So to understand Krishna is very, very difficult. And his activity is very difficult. This is what Yamraji is saying. And that's where Yamdutas, they were bewildered. How can somebody be so sinful, and just because he uttered the name Narayan, all his sins are gone? How is it possible? Yam ve na gobhir man sasubhirva hrida gira vasu dhrito vichakshate atmanam antarhridi santam atmanam chakshur yatheva krityas tatah param. As the different limbs of the body cannot see the eyes, the living entities cannot see the Supreme Lord, who is situated as a super soul in everyone's heart, not by senses, by the mind, by the life air, by thoughts within the heart, or by vibrations of the words. Can the living entities ascertain the real situation of the Supreme Lord? So this is what Yamraji is saying, and understand he is a Mahajan. He is a great authority on spiritual knowledge. And he is saying, just like a nice example, different limbs of the body cannot see the eyes. So by eyes we see the different limbs, but the different limbs cannot see the eyes. So similarly, the living entities cannot see the Supreme Lord, although he is situated in everyone's heart. And not by senses, not by mind, not by the life air or prana, by thoughts, by vibration of words, can ascertain the real situation of the Supreme Lord. Although the different parts of the body do not have the power to see the eyes direct the movements of the body's different parts. The legs move forward because the eyes see what is in front of them. And the hand touches because the eyes see touchable entities. Similarly, every living being acts according to the direction of the Super Soul, who is situated within the heart. As the Lord himself confirms in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sanvishto. I am sitting in everyone's heart and giving directions for remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Ishvara Sarva Bhutana, the Supreme Lord, as a super soul, is situated within the heart. The living entity cannot do anything without the sanction of the super soul. The super soul is acting at every moment, but the living entity cannot understand the form and activities of the super soul by manipulating his senses. The example of the eyes and the bodily limbs is very appropriate. If the limbs could see, they could walk forward without the help of the eyes, but that is impossible. Although one cannot see the super soul in one's heart through sensual activities, his direction is necessary. So the super soul, his direction, his witnessing, his sanctioning, everything is required for the body to move forward, for the body to act, for the senses to do their job. And the example is given very nicely. The eyes, although the senses or the limbs cannot see the eyes, but without eyes, they cannot move. They cannot do anything. So without the sanction or help of the super soul, the body cannot act. But still, the super soul is not visible. Nobody can see him. Tasyatma tantrasya hareradhishituh parasya mayadhipater mahatmanah prayana duta ihve manoharash charanti tadrupa gunasvabhava. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is self-sufficient and fully independent. He is a master of everyone and everything, including the illusory energy. He has his form, qualities, and features, and similarly, his order carriers, the Vaishnavas, who are very beautiful, possess bodily features, transcendental qualities, and a transcendental nature, almost like his. They always wander within this universe with full independence. Yamraj was describing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Controller, but the order carriers of Yamraj were very eager to know about the Vishnu Dutas, who had defeated them in their encounter with Ajamin. Yamraj therefore stated that the Vishnu Dutas resemble the Supreme Personality of Godhead in their bodily features, transcendental qualities, and nature. In other words, the Vishnu Dutas or Vaishnavas are almost as qualified as the Supreme Lord. Yamaraj informed the Yamdutas that the Vishnu Dutas are no less powerful than Lord Vishnu. Since Lord Vishnu is above Yamaraj, the Vishnu Dutas are above the Yamdutas. Persons protected by the Vishnu Dutas, therefore, cannot be touched by the Yamdutas. It's a very nice statement here Yamraj is making, that his order carriers, Vaishnavas, who are very beautiful, possess bodily features, transcendental qualities, and a transcendental nature, almost like his. Of course, in the purport, Prabhupada says the Vaishnavas are no less powerful than Lord Vishnu, but their power comes from their surrender or the mercy of Lord Vishnu towards them. So the Vaishnavas, of course, they don't have like the Sudarshan Chakra, just like Lord Vishnu does, or other powers. But the powers the Vaishnavas have, they get it by the mercy of the Lord. And then Prabhupada is saying, since Vishnu is above Yamaraj, the Vishnu Dutas or Vaishnavas are above the Yamdutas. So persons protected by the Vaishnavas or Vishnu Dutas, therefore cannot be touched by the Yamdutas. So all we have to do first to take shelter of lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, because he is a Param Vaishnava who all of us trying to follow, and take shelter of his lotus feet. And then Prabhupada can do anything through us. Because Krishna's mercy flows through Prabhupada for us, so he can do anything through us. Bhutani Vishnu Surpujitani Durdarsha Lingani Mahadbhutani Rakshanti Tad Bhakti Matah Parebhyo Mattascha Martyanatha Sarvatascha. The order carriers of Lord Vishnu, who are worshipped even by the demigods, possess wonderful bodily features exactly like those of Vishnu and are very rarely seen. The Vishnu Dutas protect the devotees of the Lord from the hands of the enemies, from envious persons, and even from my jurisdiction, as well as from natural disturbances. See, being a devotee has so many benefits. So Vishnu Dutas, they protect the devotees of the Lord from the hands of enemies, from envious persons, even from my jurisdiction, as well as from natural disturbances. It doesn't mean the devotees don't die and don't get people don't play politics against them, or they don't undergo any tribulations because of somebody cheating them out of money or other things. They always undergo all these things, but they are always protected by Vishnu Dutas. In the sense their bhakti is always protected if we take shelter. Yamaraj has specifically described the qualities of the Vishnu Dutas to convince his own servants not to be envious of them. Yamaraj warned the Yamdutas that the Vishnu Dutas are worshipped with respectful obeisances by the demigods and are always alert or very alert to protect the devotees of the Lord from the hands of enemies. from natural disturbances, and from all dangerous conditions in this material world. Sometimes the members of the Krishna Consciousness Society are afraid of the impending danger of world war and ask what would happen to them if a war should occur. Or nowadays, as we can see, members are afraid of danger of this coronavirus and what would happen if this pandemic breaks out all over the world. It is already broken, but if it becomes a catastrophe, then what? In all kinds of danger, they should be confident of the protection by the Vishnu Dutas of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Material danger is not meant for devotees. This is also confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Padam padam yad vipadam natesha. In this material world, there are dangers at every step, but they're not meant for devotees who have fully surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Lord. The pure devotees of Lord Vishnu may rest assured of the Lord's protection, and as long as they are in this material world, they should fully engage in devotion service by preaching the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna, namely the Hare Krishna movement of Krishna consciousness. Now, here Prabhupada made the statement, the pure devotees of Lord Vishnu may rest assured of the Lord's protection. Pure devotees. So of course, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tas tathaiva bhajamyaham. The manner, the way, or the percentage of surrender, we can say, as much as we surrender, he gives the protection. So yes, his protection is there. Of course, our surrender is not as much as compared to his protection, but at the same time, if we have to take precaution, we should. It doesn't mean if Krishna is there to protect us or help us, or Vishnu Dutas are there to help us, it doesn't mean we just become very careless. There's a difference between being careless and confident. There's a fine line. Or we can say confident and overconfident. So also it is said, yes, the Vishnu Dutas are there to protect the devotees. Krishna is there to protect the devotees. But the devotee himself doesn't want to give unnecessary trouble to Vishnu Dutas or Krishna. Just like this is common saying among the devotees, have full faith in the Lord that he will protect you or your possessions. Have full faith in the Lord, but still lock your car when you park outside. So we don't want Krishna to come and kind of protect our car because we were careless that we did not lock it. So similarly for coronavirus, of course, it's an individual decision whether to take the vaccination or not. But why put Krishna through so much of trouble of protecting us? Even after the vaccination, it's he who's going to protect. It's not like vaccination is going to protect. It's he who's going to protect. But still, it just added precaution. That's all. So text 19, very, very important verse. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagvat pranitam na vai vidur rishyo na api devaha na siddha mukhya asura manushya kutono vidyadara charanadaya. Real religious principles are enacted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although fully situated in the mode of goodness, even the great rishis who occupy the topmost planets cannot ascertain the real religious principles. Nor can the demigods or the leaders of Siddhaloka, to say nothing of the asuras, ordinary human beings, Vidyadhars and Charans. So nobody can ascertain what is real religious principle. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagvat pranitam. So whatever Krishna says, that is dharma. When challenged by the Vishnu Dutas to describe the principles of religion, the Yamduta said, Veda pranihito dharma. The religious principles are the principles enacted in the Vedic literature. They did not know, however, that the Vedic literature contains ritualistic ceremonies that are not transcendental, but are meant to keep peace and order among materialistic persons in the material world. Real religious principles are Nistraya Gunya, above the three modes of material nature or transcendental. The Yamdutas did not know these transcendental religious principles, and therefore, when prevented from arresting Ajamil, they were surprised. Materialistic persons who attach all their faith to the Vedic rituals are described in Bhagavad Gita 242, wherein Krishna says, Vedavada rataha partha, nadnyat astiti vadina. The supposed followers of the Vedas say that there is nothing beyond the Vedic ceremonies. Indeed, there is a group of men in India who are very fond of the Vedic rituals, not understanding the meanings of these rituals, which are intended to elevate one gradually to the transcendental platform of knowing Krishna. So Prabhupada is indirectly referring to Arya Samajis. They're very fond of Vedic rituals of the Havans, but they don't understand the purpose behind it. Those who do not know this principle but who simply attach their faith to the Vedic rituals are called Vedavadarata. So they just want to follow exactly what is mentioned in the Vedas, but not. So there's something called form and substance. So they just want to follow the form without understanding or even following the substance, what it is all meant for. Herein it is stated that the real religious principle is that which is given by the Supreme Personality of God. That principle is stated in Bhagavad Gita. One should give up all other duties and surrender unto the lotus feet of Krishna. That is the real religious principle everyone should follow. Even though one follow Vedic scriptures, one may not know this transcendental principle, for it is not known to everyone. To say nothing of human beings, even the demigods in the upper planetary systems are unaware of it. This transcendental religious principle must be understood from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, directly or from a special representative, as stated in the next verses. So this is the real religious principle. So even Vedic literature, as Prabhupada said, most of the Vedic literature, they deal with Karma Kanda, Vedic rituals. But that is not the topmost. So the Yamdutas must have only gone up to this point. But there is something beyond, or much, much beyond that. And that's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita basically covers everything actually. He says towards the end, Sarva Dharman Paritaja, forget about Vedic rituals, this, that, karma, kanda, or this, tapasya, that, dan, charity, whatever. Forget. Just surrender unto me. This is the highest principle according to Bhagavad Gita. Of course, when we study Chaitanya Charitamrita and we study Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's conversation with Ramananda Rai, even this was considered outer, exterior. He said, tell me something more. I mean, just Sarva Dharman Paritaja, or Varnashram Dharma, this Dharma, and that. Tell me something more. This is Bhaya. Give me something more internal, juicy. So when Ramanand Rai said, serving the Supreme Lord in the Dasaras, even he said, something more. When he came to Shantaras, then he said, okay, now we are talking. Something more. Then from Shantaras to Sakhya to Vatsalya to Madhurya, and then even in Madhurya, then he went up and described the mood of Srimati Radharani. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was happy. Yes, this is the ultimate goal of life. So yes, since we are in Srimad Bhagavatam, and this canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, as in the first or second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we read there are 8 subject matters of Bhagavatam. Even I don't remember all of them. Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, Oshanam. So first 2 cantos describe about Sarga, the creation, then secondary creation, then Sthanam, where, and then the Poshnam. Poshnam means to nurture. And this canto, actually, 6th canto, describes the Poshnam, how the Lord nurtures, protects his devotees. And then it goes further up and up and up. And then Ishanu Kathayam and Krishna, Leela of Krishna Kathayam, so many things will go. So this point, up to this point, what Yamraji is saying, obviously, whatever Krishna says, that is dharma, and the real dharma is to surrender unto him. So dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. So dharma is not just doing the Vedic rituals, is to surrender unto him. So anyway, things are getting more and more interesting. So we'll discuss tomorrow. See anybody has any questions or comments. Okay, I guess we can stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.